Hey everybody, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Mark Miller here. Rory Becker's on the line with me. Rory, how are you doing, buddy?
Hey Mark, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How about yourself? You doing good?
I'm pretty good, I think. In this moment, I'm thinking, oh geez, I should have prepped for the show, but I didn't really. So I have a bunch of stuff we got to do, and I haven't really given it much thought. It's much better. I think things go much better if you think about it a little bit beforehand. And
Sure.
clearly, I've been doing other things, so that
Probably
didn't.
helps if we don't play games in the in the preceding minutes of
But
the stream.
fortunately, there's no proof that you and I were doing that, so I think we're good.
Uh-huh.
No physical proof of any kind. Hold on a second, though. It looks like I just paused my live view of this whole thing, and I meant to hit the mute button over there. All right, that's good. So,
I love that. Will Bennett's with us in the chat room, and he says prep is a four-letter word.
yeah, well, that's kind
That's
of
very good.
yeah. It's easier to go off rails if you don't prep at all, right? Then you're completely off rails all the way.
True.
So let me tell you what I've done since yesterday. I've made
Okay.
just a few changes. I guess first thing, let's bring up our GitHub folder. Take a look at that. Let me drag it over to the right screen. Let me show you that screen too, because I'm sure you'd want to see it. It's right there behind me. This is today's source code, episode 54 begin right there. I've tagged it about 13 minutes ago. I took the portal class that we had doubled up inside the drone.ts TypeScript file, and I moved it to its
Yep.
own class. So
Sure.
I did that. And I think for the most part, no real significant change. One other thing I did since the show was over is I realized that we weren't lining our portals exactly in the right spot. The upper left of the portals was in the right spot, but we wanted the center of the portal. So I moved everything up and I created a test. I think that test is still sample 4 if I recall correctly. So I think it's test space sample 4. And there it is right there. You'll see the portal, rather, is now appearing right about here, right around the mouse right here, surrounded by coins. And so that's the test to verify it's there. The other piece that you may have noticed here, let me do a doc right here. Yep, that still works. Let me get rid of these with a doc, but Lynn, I'm going to bring the same test again. The other piece you may have noticed is, I was talking about this yesterday, I didn't like how they were all appearing at the same time. They're now appearing, hold on, test sample 4. Here it comes. They're now appearing at different times. And so that means that the animations are out of sync with each other, which means it's harder to tell that I'm actually in a loop in each one of these. And
Yeah.
it's easier to suspend disbelief. Okay, so that's where we are. We have the ability to drop from the portal by using that command that Will Bennett did right there, the test portal drop, which is going to drop a meteor from every single one of those portals that we have out here. Now, normally in a game, we're not going to have so many portals, right? We're just going to maybe have one.
I was going to say it's going to prove a very popular command otherwise.
Yeah. It's like, boom. We're going to have one or two or three, maybe something along those lines, and they would be each on top of different columns, which also means we need a drone spawning place as well. Right now, when we spawn the drones, they're coming right out of the CodeRushed logo, wherever that is. And if we launch the logo and move it, for example, down a little bit, and then type in drone again, my drone will blow up, and the new one will come out from right where it is. So right now, the drone spawning location is the rocket. I want to create for a game an actual spawning location so that, and maybe even give you control. So if I've got 3 different ones, they're numbered 1, 2, or 3, and you could just type in a number and you'll spawn at that location. And which would be useful for strategy, right? If I've got 3 different locations and I need to work as a team to get a meteor from one place to another by throwing it, for example, that's kind of the idea that we could set up. And I want to, of course, reward people. We need to be able to collect coins with the drones. So we're not doing that yet. That's on the list. I've invited Brendan Enrigover to help us out. And he, because we need to go to SignalR one more time, and I want to run by some architecture with him before we make that change. So I'd like him ideally to be with us, and so I'm giving him a chance to free up some time on his schedule to be a guest. So hopefully
Fair enough.
will happen. Okay, with that said, I'm going to dock for a little bit. So that's going to blow up some folks. We're going to switch over to some source code. You're, of course, free to go flying again. And I just noticed we need to clean up those coins. So I think the best way to do it, well, I could do this. Let me do this. Hold on. Let me not type in there. The easiest way to do it is just refresh like this. And then that'll get rid of the coins. I was also thinking, let's launch the rocket and collect them manually, but enough of that. So that's the essence of what we've done so far. Next, I want to let's create a layout test with only one, we've got 3 in it here. Let's do with just one portal. So let's create another one of these out here, and we'll create, not that one actually, let's do, actually, let's do this. Let's call this, let's rename this portal test like this. And we'll do that. We don't have anything calling that up yet, but then I'm going to duplicate this. And this is going to become my new sample game 4. And sample game 4, I think, is only going to have like one of these like this. And I'll put it over on the right side. So there's my portal right there. Actually, and I found that the portal at the very top doesn't look as good as a portal one line below because it's slightly cropped off at the top.
Okay.
So I'm going to just drop it down. And so the goal for this test is I want to fly my drone underneath this. That's what I want to do. And let me make it so I can kind of get down here.
So we're going to make like some kind of infrared detection, and by passing underneath, that's when it's going to drop the meteor.
Yeah, that's kind of what I want to do. That's exactly what I want to do. Let me just come in here, get rid of this.
It's a meteor dispensary. Place your hand underneath.
Exactly.
Receive.
This, I just realized it's going to like slice off my head right about here. So maybe I don't want to do that right here. Let's move it over to the left a bit so it doesn't block me. And so I guess something like this. I don't know. I don't really need these lines here. In fact, let's get rid of these right here. The main thing I'm looking for is I want to be able to have a space that I can fly my drones through at any altitude and see if it can, and I really don't need these either. Let's just get rid of that. Okay, and see if we can, if it can drop and catch and intercept. That's what we're looking for. And so that's going to be sample game 4, I think. Right there. Okay. And
good stuff.
That's good. And I think there's really nothing I need to do because we've already got code that'll bring this layout up. So the next thing I need to do is I need to figure out, and this is the part I have no preparation for at all. I have a sense of how I want to solve it, but I think this is going to take the whole episode just to get what I'm about to say done. And what I wanted to make it do is so that I want it periodically to check essentially the paths of all the drones and check to see if any of those cross it's directly underneath the drone portal. Then I want them to figure out how long it'll take, if any, of that. So we're filtering, right? Anything that's going to cross me in the next, say, 5 seconds. Okay. Anything that's going to cross me in the next 5 seconds, I'm then going to go and check and see, or maybe 2 seconds. I guess this is an interesting question. How long ahead should I check? Okay. So so that depends on my height, how high the portal is, and what gravity we're running under. Right?
Yes.
Because if it's the sun, I only need to check ahead like maybe 400 milliseconds because the sun is going to pull that down so fast, there's not much time, right? So I only need to check about 400 milliseconds in advance, right? So this question of where I'm going to, this time limit, this looking into the future is going to be different depending on how high I am off the ground. So I guess the first thing is we're going to have to figure that out. Let's go over into Portal and let's kind of write down some of what we're going to need to do here. So I'm just going to create this is, by the way, one of my favorite CodeRushed templates for creating comments. If I want to create a comment that's a multi-line comment in C# or TypeScript, I just type in 2 dots and a space bar. This also works nicely in HTML as well. 2 dots and a space bar will give you that comment, and it's really nice because otherwise it's a lot Oh, here, another opportunity for the key cam right here. It's a lot of keys to get this otherwise, right? To get this otherwise, I have to come in here and I have to come over here to this key. It's off the home key, right? So it's way over here, and I have to go like that. Then I have to get the number 8 with the shift key down, which means I'm going to now come over here, hold this down, cross over, reach up to the 8, or alternatively, I'm going to hold this shift key down and reach up to the 8 here, right? To get that. Then I've got to let
a combination, isn't it?
Yeah, then I got to let go, come forward, and then, or maybe not. Maybe I'm going to say, oh no, I'm going to just hold the shift key down and hit this 8 twice. Boom, boom. But now I got to let go and hit the end and then move left 1, 2. It's a mess no matter what. And comparatively, just coming over here and hitting dot, dot, and space, or tab key, whatever it is, it's much, much faster. It's much, much faster. Will Bennett saying, how about having a method on the drone that returns time to position X? I'm not sure about that yet, Will, is the answer to the question. Because let's kind of run through this. Let's get back to let's see how that fits in. Okay, let's just do that. Let's see how that fits in. So first thing is we need to see our max future prediction cutoff, I guess is what we want to call this for now. I'm not thinking of anything better. Cutoff time. And that's based on, I'm going to come out here and say it's based on height and gravity, like that. Okay, so our max future.
So at any given point in time, it's not that the calculation to work it out is especially intensive. It's just a question of, should I be launching now such that there is somebody who will be catching this?
Kind of. What I really want to do, I don't want to ask the question now. I really want to do is say, let's look ahead, find out the cutoff time. Let's say that it takes 2 seconds to drop, and that's our cutoff time. So I now want to ask the question, of all the drones, who's crossing under me in the next 2 seconds? Okay. So so then that's gonna be my step 2 right here. I'm gonna come right here and I'm gonna say 2. What drones are crossing my X in the next, whatever seconds? Like that. That's the cutoff time, right there. Okay, so that's the next question I want to ask, like that. Then, if there are any, I think we're going to come in here. Any? If so, add them to the queue. And I want to create a queue that's of times when I need to drop based on this. Make sense, Rory? So I'm going to say, what's the next?
I think so, yeah.
So let's say I've got 5 drones that are all going to cross sometime in the next few seconds. I need to know their cross times. And so I'm going to, in the queue, I'm going to say drop 1 at this, and then I'm going to back it up. So I need to know their cross times. And so we add them to the queue. I need to know, hold on. I need to know the cross time. I need to know their altitude, expected altitude at that cross time. Right? Because then I need to, and from that I need to calculate the drop time.
Yes.
Because it needs to fall that distance to the cross time right there. I'll turn off the key cam there so we don't need to watch that the whole time. But so I need to calculate the drop time, and then that's how I'm going to add the time of, so the queue is going to contain a time that we need to drop it at. So the queue is going to be a list of times. So then I'm going to drop and gravity's going to work. And if they're still going, then it's going to come close and hopefully they'll catch it. That I think is the thing we need. We need the expected cross time, the expected altitude. So back to Will. Will's asking, how about a method on the drone that returns time to position X? I will need that function to return the time and the Y position as well to position X. I need to know what time and the Y position when it gets to X. That's what I need that function to return, I believe. That's what we need to do on the drone.
Okay.
It seems simple when we just put it in a comment. So I think this is going to take, and hopefully if we don't have any mistakes, are going to be costly on this. If we make any mistakes, it's going to take minutes and minutes to fix them. So hopefully we won't do that. Don't need the Y unless the time is in range. I disagree with that, Will. We need the Y. This is why we need the Y. Because when I cross down below or I cross like right underneath it, that's a different fall time, right? So if I'm crossing right underneath, say I've got two drones and they're both crossing at the same time, but one is crossing high and one is crossing low. Well, I need two different drops to get that. I need one drop that's going to be about here, just as it comes underneath it, and I need another one later that drops just as this one comes underneath it here. So it'll go like this. It'll go like drop, like this, and then a second drop like that right there, and then they'll both be caught. That's why I need the Y, because the speed of the drop is different. The time for the drop is different based on the distance. But you exclude any drone that doesn't have a chance, right? Oh, yes. That is also, so drones crossing that were not all, that are not, so let's say
drones
qualified.
That are moving away and that are not about to cross at all.
Well, but hold on though. Qualified drones. Let's talk about qualified drones here.
Oh, those that aren't already carrying something.
Yes. So qualified means, well, let's come down here, like right about there. We're going to say qualified means not carrying and not queued. Not queued up.
So how often do you expect to scan to detect a list of people who are qualified? Because if the game starts and the portal's in place and we say, okay, now we're going to do a scan, and there's like 5 people and they're all heading towards the portal, we're going to predict, let's say, that within 2 seconds, they will all cross underneath, but at different varying times, and as you say, at different heights. But let's say it's going to take them a second to get there, okay? Are we going to scan again in a half a second's time? We're going to throw away our existing information?
No, I don't think we throw it away. I think if we've got it, well, we can throw it away if it's queued, if we have a different time and we haven't dropped it yet. Which qualified drones crossing? Hold on. Add them to the queue. So we said qualified means not carrying and not queued up, but we could change it to just simply not carrying. And if it's queued up if it's queued up, maybe instead of saying not queued up, not dropped, then we can change our data. Okay. So what does that mean? That means we need a queue we need to track. That means, let's do this. Let's come down here. And we're going to say that means we need to track dropped meteors until they explode or are caught. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is where it gets a little complicated because we don't have a mechanism to do this yet. Or are caught. Okay, so we need to track that because if we've dropped it and it's in your name, I don't want to drop another one, I think. I don't want to keep dropping like 100 if you're slowing down. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I just want to say, okay, whatever, you're slowing down. Wait till it explodes, then you get another chance. From the playability standpoint, it's not going to be a big deal because if you miss it, you're just going to kind of hover underneath it and you'll get a second one, right? It doesn't have to be, a miss is not dangerous or expensive. So we need to track drop meteors until they explode or are caught, and we need to track queued meteors. Track queued meteors and bind them to specific drones.
So if Will is just flying under the portal fairly low down the screen, and effectively the portal decides to throw out a meteor, it's going to actually state within the code that it is for him.
Yes.
So if somebody else happens to come past, they're not going to be able to snag his meteor, but at the same time, in theory, they will have had one thrown out for them.
Sure, that's right, exactly. And also, we've got this, if they're caught, if the meteor's caught, then now Will becomes a qualified drone again to get another meteor thrown to him. So yeah, it's totally possible that somebody could come in and intercept your meteor, and maybe the one that was meant for them, like if they were speeding up and you were slowing down, they could get yours, and maybe if you slow down enough or change directions, the one that was meant for them just totally goes away. Right?
I was going to say, actually, speaking of that change direction idea, that's an interesting one. So let's say the portal's on the right-hand side of the screen, more or less, and I charge at high velocity from the left to the right.
Okay.
And, or better yet, I start on the right-hand side of the portal, going right, and I bounce off the screen. So
Yep.
I haven't deliberately made an attempt to move left, but it is a natural side effect.
Yep.
Depending on when I was scanned, I might have been perceived as going right or now going left.
Yep.
So I may or may not qualify.
Yep. Well, here's another idea, right? Like, let's say you've got two of the bouncy walls,
Yeah.
and right above the portal, and you're changing direction a lot. I think that's what you're talking about, right? What if we're changing direction and we can't actually do it? We'll play test it and see what happens. I have a feeling that it's not going to be a problem, because if you really want to catch, you'll slow down, right? You'll slow down and catch it, is what I think. So that's kind of what we need to do. It gives us insight into what kind of structures we're going to need inside of our queue, and we're going to need a queue for the things we're going to drop. And then with regards to anything that is dropped, I think we're going to need a list of some kind that we're going to clean up as the meteor is caught or it explodes. Which also seems to mean that maybe on the meteor we need an event, which means maybe we look at events, or alternatively, we could give the meteor knowledge of the list. And the meteor could go out. This is actually, I think, a little simpler with regard to the code. Not my favorite, because it's kind of, we're saying, okay, meteor, now you know about the list. But I think I'm leaning towards it because of simplicity of code and the time we have to build this. Do you have any thoughts, Rory, at all?
I think we're going to have some very interesting time developing this.
I think we will. Will Bennett's saying, I'm thinking if you can't reach in time, skip. If you can reach in time, get Y at the time it will cross, right? That's what I'm saying. You have separate calculations for X and Y displacement, so this saves the extra Y displacement calculation. Go, get Y. Wait. Get Y at the time it will cross. Hold on.
So you only bother to calculate Y if you're convinced that there actually will be an X intersection within the time frame.
I see. Yeah, I think we can. We'll look at that function and we'll see what we do. And I'm sure we'll work at this, Will, until you, Will Bennett, give us invoke the command for Mr. Announcer Guy to say, Mr. Announcer Bot to say, nice function. That's what we're going to go for. So that's that. I think that I'm going to give the meteor the access to the list of meteors in the queue. I'm like not minding that terribly. We'll change that later if people are going to not like that from a standpoint of good design, that sort of thing, decoupling. But for now, we're going to do it that way, I think, is what we're going to do. Okay, what else? Unexpected scan frequency. So we didn't answer your question of scan frequency, Rory. I think the scan frequency is, I think we're going to start by doing it every time we draw. And I think what's going to happen is it's going to kind of oops, hold on just one second. I think I'm about to sneeze and I'm going to, okay. And do I have another one coming? I'm not sure. Okay, so I think it's going to filter out. The first time it's going to be like, oh, get all the drones. But then it's going to now start holding things in lists, and now the qualified drones are going to maybe not be there so much. We might find it slows down the game a bit, in which case we will say, okay, let's check, let's set it. I think our strategy here is if we notice perf issues, we'll impose a min time span between checks. Make sense?
Yeah.
Like whatever, like 200 milliseconds or something like that. And then, but I think it's going to work. I think the whole thing, if we get the essence of this, I think it's going to feel like exactly what we want it to feel like.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's get to work on this. So I think that the first thing, I guess the most interesting to me out of this is the drone prediction piece. So I want to go over to the drone. Let's start writing that function right here, and let's see if we can figure that out. So we want to, what if we did, so we need to get a time and a location, I think is what we need to do. I feel like I want to do something like this. I think I want to create a new class. And the new class is going to be future point is what I think it's going to be.
Okay.
And so we'll create a function in drone that says get future point, and it takes an x, and then it's going to either return null if there's no predictive piece in there, and it may also take, in addition to the x, it may take a upper time span limit. Are you going to get there in time or not?
Okay.
And if it doesn't get in time, we'll return null, and if it does, we'll return a value. So it's going to have a couple pieces in here. It's going to have a property called x, which is going to be a number, and it's going to have a property called y, which is also going to be a number. Let's get the comma there, and it's going to have another property which is going to be time, the anticipated time of the crossover, like that, and that's also going to be public.
So this is to represent your answer to the question, when am I going to cross this
Right.
location?
Right, exactly. And so now we're going to create a new function here called get future point, and it's going to have taken a variable called x. So that's the crossover, and it's going to have a second variable which is going to be the time limit, or the look ahead limit, I guess.
Okay.
And we could do this. So I'm kind of doing two things in one function. Because I know I'm only caring about future points that are within the time limit, I'm asking the function to filter results. We could arguably get rid of the second parameter and just say, tell me when you're going to cross, if you're going to cross at all. And then later check to see if that's greater than or less than the limit, and then filter on the outside. I think I'm going to do that. Even though I don't anticipate ever calling this without needing to filter, I'm going to do it this way and put filtering on the outside.
Well, arguably, we're only ever going to get as many of these future points as we potentially have drones, or indeed things that can cross. So at the moment, that's still a fairly limited number of them.
Right. Right.
So the only disadvantage is there any more complexity to the calculation based on including people who are a long way away or going in the wrong direction?
No, it's not really.
And
It's
probably not
it's
so
just
much.
it's just the decision as whether to add it or not. In other words, if you're too far away, I'm going to wait till you're closer, right? Whatever my drop time is, I'm going to wait till you're closer is what I'm going to do. So now we got to find out when we're going to cross that. And that x, I want to remind you, is the center of us. We need to calculate our center of x. So to do that, we need to figure out what our current velocity is at this point in time. And let's go in and look at, let's see, if we call changing direction, it does this call right here. And I think that's what we want to do, is what I think we want to do. Although, yeah, I'm going to do it just based on your velocity in the moment. That's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
This is changing if thrust is applied, right? So it's going to not be perfect, but I'm also, I don't want to actually go in and say, well, how long is the rotor's going to be on for? And then calculate thrust over that time. I don't want to do that. I just want to come in, find out what my velocity is. That's all I want to do on that. So let's do that. So let's come in here on get future point. We're going to find out and calculate our velocities right there, like that. And it looks like I've got to pass in now as well. So we'll do that. We'll pass in now as a number to get future point. So that'll give us our velocity x and our velocity y. We are interested in our x. So now this is like where my mind is all of a sudden so totally blanking out right here. It's something along the lines of distance divided by time is equal to speed. Hold, let me just comment this out. So I've got...
So velocity x is surely literally meters per second at the moment.
Right. So thank you.
So then it's a question of how many meters away are we from the portal?
Right.
And thus, in how many seconds will we then reach that portal?
Yes. So let's do this. So let's create a, let's turn all of these to lets. So I'm getting in the hang of doing that instead. So now I want to come in here and say, thank you. That's exactly what I was needing. That was the thought I needed. My brain was like, I want a donut or something like that. And so
nothing wrong with donuts.
Nothing wrong. Well, I don't know. I'm on ketogenic diet, so I don't eat.
Oh, okay.
I can create my own keto donuts, but that's it. I can't do with artificial sweetener, but that's it.
Fair enough.
By the way, they're really good. Can't you just check the meteor to see if it has been parented or if it has been destroyed?
So I think this is a comment along where we were trying to work out what to do with any for some disposing purposes. So if you've got
Yeah.
meteors that have been destroyed, well, by definition, they're okay to clean up after. And again, if they're parented, we probably want to keep hold of them just for the moment. But that'll lead to them being destroyed later anyway.
Yeah. So I'm going to say x minus this dot x, which is our left position, not our center. And somewhere in here, I've got a drone width right here, which is there. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say, and actually, you know what? Let's do this because Roy, you talked to me about this last time. And I think you're absolutely right that we need to change this. I just want to see how many of these I've got. Let's see if I can rename this to this dot. So should we width? I guess I can just do width. Let's try that. And then, and then let's come down here and do this. Oh, I wanted to do something else. Remember I said my problem was my constants in here? QN. I'm going to take a commercial break here. This is wrong. When I type in Q for constants and then N for number, it gives me this, but what I want it to give me instead is static read only. Like that.
Okay.
Okay, and then the rest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and change the QN template now so it works. Let's actually paste this here, change this to this. Is that going to get rid of everything? Let's rename that to just a lowercase width, like that, and see if that has any problems with it. Looks like we're on the right track here. So we've taken away drone height, and we've now replaced it. Oh, the this.width is not working. I should have changed it to drone.width, like that. Let's go fix that. Oh, and this didn't rename because we didn't have it. Okay, so that's all right. We're going to come in. Let's look for this. Hold on. Let me take this. So this kind of answers the question the other day we had where can't we just do a this on it? And it looks like the answer is we cannot. So let's search for that and paste it in. Search, paste, 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 paste. Okay, I think we're okay. And I may have totally messed it up as well because if we had another property in here called width, but we should see a problem here.
Well, we do have a property in there called width. It's line 35.
All right, we got to undo.
Just, now that you mention it.
Now we got to undo. We got to undo. Dang, dang, dang. Okay, so hold on. We're here. Let's undo. Let's get all the way back up, and we're going to do this later, is what we'll do. Instead, though, we're going to work on, what's going on right here? That should be good. Why am I seeing those underlines there? Come on. Come on, Visual Studio. You can do it.
There they go.
Okay, there we go. Okay, just catching up. All right, but I want to fix this. This is CodeRushed, and so I'm going to take a commercial break for a second, go into CodeRushed and fix this. I want to fix this so it expands out instead and says static read only here. So let's go look at that, and I'll show you how to change the templates. This is going to be
a good demonstration because apart from anything else, it's sort of it reveals the fact that there's no huge secret sauce here, that there is the ability to customize almost any aspect of CodeRush to almost ridiculous degree. And therefore, if you have preferences which stand outside, or if you want to make your own templates that produce particular expansions for you, this is really easy. You can totally do this.
All right, so here we go. We are in declarations constants. Q primitive is here. And what I want to do is I want to create an alternate expansion for this. So I want to create two different ones for it. We're going to have this one right here, and then we're going to have another one underneath it that's slightly different. The one underneath it's going to say static read only, like that at the beginning, and the other one's going to just say const. But look at the way we'll differentiate is with the context. I'm going to actually move this one on top, and I'm going to say, sure, on empty line. I'm good with that context, but I'm going to add in another context as well. And in class, which is what I think it is. Let's double check this here. Class, in class. That's what I want right there. If it's in a class, then we're good. And so now I'm going to click OK on this. And now if I type in QN here, what? I'm in a class. Come on, that should work. Let's double check that. QN, look for it again. And if we're this and a class, it should be totally working. That should totally nail it. That looks really good to me. And this one should go otherwise. Yeah, I'm not getting it. I don't understand why that's not working. We're totally in a class right here. So that looks like, can you put
a little bit of a bug? Yep.
yeah, can you
will
get
note
that
that
out
down.
to the folks? And so what I'm expecting to happen is we're here, one thing that happens, and we're here, we should see static read only. That's what I was hoping to see, but we did not. So get that for sure. It's interesting, for some reason it doesn't think drone is a class. Let's just double check another class and see if it's specific only to drone or not. Nope, it's everything. It's not seeing as if it's a class. I had this problem before, but then I thought it went away. So interesting. All right. So back over to drone. So here we go. Let's find our delta x. So we need to say this minus drone. What was it? Width. Drone width divided by 2. Nope, plus 2. Plus this divided by 2. So that's going to be my center point of the drone. The x. So if the x is here, my center point is there, then my delta x is going to be positive. And if it's the other side, it's going to be negative. So now I want to check to see if the signs don't match. If math.sign of velocity or of delta x is not equal to math.sign of velocity x, that's what I wanted there, then we're going to return null like that. And let's also specify that our future point is what we're returning here. Okay? So we're going to return there. By the way, Will Bennett in the chat room says you can do this dot on static as long as it's not a property. So this dot on a static read-only field works. So we might have seen some other thing there. So that's, Will is saying that's the case. Let's come in here. Let's just confirm it right now so we can see it. Static read-only. My number, whatever, like that, of type number. And I'm going to come in here and say this dot, my number equals 0. And there you go. Oh, wait. My number does not exist on type drone. So, Will, is this what you're not expecting to happen? Because take a look at that. That is looking like we're getting an error there on that static read-only number there with the this. And that
just to qualify, we can say drone.mynumber, and that currently works.
Yeah, that's what we're expecting to work right there. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. Everything's public. Oh, wait, drone my number is not working? Why is that the case? Because of the constant. Oh, it's constant. Okay. Well, maybe, is that the same problem I have down here? No, it says it does not exist. So basically, I guess my test is more along the lines of this. If drone my number is equal to 0, or this dot my number is equal to 0. Yeah, it's looking to me like that what I'm understanding you're saying is not actually, it works for me, I'll have to check, is what he's saying. Okay. So, yeah, it's not working here. It's definitely saying...
Might also depend on the version of TypeScript that we're using. They do evolve that rather fast occasionally, so it could be that Will's on a later version, maybe even.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, excellent. So at least we checked that and verified that. If you get us more information, we'll take a look at that. Okay, so let's see, x minus. So now if the signs are not equal, we're returning null because as we last calculated, if it's over to the left, the delta x is going to be positive, so we need the velocity to be positive. In other words, if the signs don't match, it's not going the right way. Okay? Yep. Also, now the only thing is here is if x is equal to it, there's one other scenario, is if x is equal to 0, then we're there now. So we should kind of, even though it's rare, we should maybe come in and arguably check to see if, hey, if we're at 0, it's a special case. And then we should say return new future point like this. And the future point is going to be x. We need to still calculate y. Well, I guess y is going to be whatever we're at right now. So it's this dot y plus drone height. Why don't I not see drone height in here? In the list. Drone height, there it is. Okay, yep. Divided by 2. Okay, and then the time that is going to be there is now, right there. So that's our special case. Now, next we got to figure out time to the crossover is what we need. So we need a new variable here, time to crossover. And this is going to be in seconds because our velocity is in meters per seconds. So this is going to be equal to our delta x, our distance, that we need to travel, divided by our velocity.
Sounds
X.
good.
I think that's correct. If my brain is working correctly, it looks good to you too. So there's my time to crossover. So now with my time to crossover, I can now calculate my my new y. So I need to y at crossover, maybe like that, and that's going to be equal to. So my y at crossover is equal to my velocity y. Now, by the way, if I'm headed down for a bounce, my y, I'm not calculating bounces into this, right, Rory? So if I'm coming in for a bounce off the floor like this, and I haven't bounced yet, it's going to suggest that I'm outside the range of the screen. If that's the case, I'm not sure what to do on that, actually.
We could return a null and suggest that it's not going to cross.
Yeah, we
At
could
least
definitely,
not at the right time.
Definitely
we'll
return a null.
recalculate when you actually bounce back up and you're now heading in a positive direction, or sorry, negative as far as your y goes. Then, assuming a recalc happens in the gap, then we will, potentially re-add you.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Okay, so the y at crossover is going to be equal to this dot y plus velocity x, or velocity y rather. Now the only thing is, I'm not sure if this is what the sign is on this. I'm kind of forgetting. I think that
positive is further down and positive,
well, here's the thing. When we throw the ball, as I recall, we reversed it. Right? Oh. Remember when we were first testing with throwing the ball and a positive would shoot it down? I think positive is down in the internal engine that we've created. I'm pretty sure. So it's going to be, whoops, not x. This should be y. So this dot y plus velocity of y times the time at crossover minus now the seconds to crossover is what I think I really want here. So time at crossover is, let's see, delta x, this is in seconds already.
Yes, that's seconds that we have to add a 2 now.
Like that.
To actually predict.
And so the y at crossover is equal, so this isn't time at crossover, this is delta to crossover. Time to crossover, I see, right. This is seconds, let's call it seconds to crossover, like that. And so then that way we've got the name and everything right inside of there. And so then this is
now we just multiply that out by the velocity y, and
that's going to give me my distance over there. And then so the y at crossover is here. Now I want to say if y is less than 0 or y is greater than, and somewhere in this thing I've got a constant for 1080, I think. Let's do a search for 1080 and see what we've got out here. Screen height is what the piece I was looking for right there.
Yep.
Okay. So screen height is there. That's inside the function update screen though. Let's move this out. Let's see where else it showed up inside of there. In the find results view. Find results is probably 1. Okay.
So we've got a wall and a main TS.
Let's fix all of these.
Couple of places.
Yeah. Let's come in here. Let's change this with just screen height. Actually, let's change it in a minute. Let's first take these and put these outside. So that is, I think, where we want to be. Yep. Okay. Just double checking that. Let's go out into main. Wait, where are we? We are in Gravity Games. I think I may have to put it here. Or no. Let's see if I can put it in main, and if we'll find it. The problem has to do with the order in which the pieces are loaded, I think. The code is loaded, maybe. Let's try putting it here and see if that's going to work for Gravity Games. Is that going to get rid of that problem? I don't seem to be jumping to it, to the piece that I'm double-clicking on. That's weird. All right, so screen height there is, let's see what else we have here. This, we're going to use screen height here. Hold on. Let's get rid of just the piece I'm looking for, screen height. Okay, there's that one. This one, screen height. This one, screen height. Okay, that's all good. And while I'm here, let's also look for screen, or let's look for 1920. And take a look at that. And this should be screen width. And you can see it. Excellent. And there's the declaration. And
so
then
just a quick tip for you there, Mark. If you happen to be in a situation where you've done a search like this and you found a number of items and you're looking to iterate through all of them, having double-clicked the first one as you have, the button F8 will locate the next one and then the next one and the next one repeatedly, and Shift F8 will go back through them as well.
Sweet. Look at
which
that.
is pretty nice. You don't have to keep reaching back over to the find results.
Nice. I like it. Yeah,
I think it works for almost any list. So if you happen to do it on the to-dos in the task list, that'll work as well. And there's a few other places it'll work. So it's quite a nice little keystroke combination.
Nice tip. I love it. And look at that keyboard cam coming in handy right there for that tip as well, right, to show that. That was awesome. I love it. Thank you to Visual Studio for kicking butt on that one for us. Love that. Great tip, Rory. Okay, so let's see. We were in drone. We were out here. So if the Y at crossover is greater than screen height, come on, there you go. If it's greater than it, then we're going to also return null. We're out, okay?
Yeah.
We could calculate the bounce. If it's greater than screen height, then we know a bounce is going to occur. We could figure out our distance from our current Y to the ground and subtract it from the Y at crossover.
Yeah.
Want to do it? No, probably not. Let's not do it. It's not a big deal. If you're bouncing nearby, don't worry. The other thing is there's also bouncing that could happen that we don't know about as well. So we're going to, in other words, if you're coming in like this and you bounce off a wall, it's going to pop up here. Will says, I think I figured out the issue. I'm using this .static field when I'm in a static method of the class.
There you go, yes.
I totally believe that will work.
That is entirely valid because, of course, when you're in a static method, there is no this to refer to, so there had to be an alternate syntax.
Yeah. So let's look at that real quickly here so we can see it. So we've got static, read only, and we've got a mynum of type whatever is equal to 3, and then inside a static function here. And let's put the word static at the beginning. Can I do that there? No, I can't. Static, func, whatever that's called. And then down here, I can say this.mynum. There it is, right there. And I can totally reference it. Like that. So that all works. Excellent. That is it. Thanks, Will, for checking up on that. So that's cool. So we can use this if we're in a static function. Excellente. All right, so back over here. So now we've got our Y at crossover, seconds to crossover, right? And and we've got we know our X at crossover. So that means at this point we can now return a new future point like that. And the future point's going to have
clearly still going to be the X, and then there's going to be the Y at crossover, and then it's going to be the, I guess, now plus seconds to crossover.
Yeah, hold on one second though. I want to say this is this plus the drone height divided by 2 is what this is.
Right. Yes.
So because we're not going to be upper left anymore on this, so that's going to be drone height divided by 2. So there's our Y at crossover. So yeah, so we can now use this, our Y at crossover, and then our time is going to be now plus seconds to crossover times 1,000, because we want to get that to milliseconds.
True.
That's the time. So the time is in milliseconds right there. Wow. That was
cool.
Not as hard as I thought it was going to be. I think we did it. And lots of thanks to you, Rory, and to Will for helping us get through this, because I don't think we made any mistakes here. I feel like this is pretty good. I feel like we got a shot at this being good.
Okay, so we've got to get a future point. Are we calling it?
No.
Did we write the code for that?
We are doing nothing right now with this, but this is the first thing we did. Let's go back over into Portal. I want to put a big check mark right here. We have got this one done. Based on, we didn't do, wait, max future. Oh, we haven't done this one. Sorry. We did get the cross time and the expected altitude. This is the piece we've done right here. That's the piece we've done. So we are, we don't know, we haven't done any of the rest. So we still got a lot to do here. And I'm just looking 10 minutes till you got to go, Rory. So we are, I was right that this is, well, I wasn't right. I said we'd do it in one show, but I think it'll be one show if I stay longer, but we'll see what happens. Max future prediction cutoff time. We have not done that yet. We could do that. But we need to call it. I think the real question is calling it and the scan frequency and when and where are we going to do that. I think what we're going to do is something that looks like this. These portals, by the way, are placed inside of something called like all portal, I think is what it is right here, isn't it? It's let's go see where we're.
Not sure we had an all. Do we have portals plural though? We maybe broke our naming convention there.
You might be right. Let's go look for all the. There's where we're creating it right there, and there's my new portal, and.
Line 112 refers to portals.sprites.
Yeah, so let's rename this to say all portals. Well, here we're going to call this purple portals is what we're going to call it. Purple portals, like that, at the risk of creating a tongue twister, because I use the word alls. The naming convention all is used for collections of sprites. And so a sprite is a collection of images, a sprites is a collection of images, and a sprites collection.
Nice variable name.
So we'll call that purple portals for now, in case we want to create any other alternative ones. But remember, we were talking about this yesterday. Will gave us a great suggestion about and I forget the property. It's like the composition option for context.
Oh yes.
Right. We are going to we can use that to create portals of different colors if we want to do that. We can start really optimizing what we're doing so that even our explosions match the color of the meteor, and all we're doing is color shifting. And I have a feeling that's going to be really fast, not impact performance at all, and we'll be able to cut down the resources we're using. Global composite operation section is what it is. Global composite operation, I think, is what it is called. But yeah, yeah, there you go. He just corrected it. Global composite operation. Thanks, Will. We definitely appreciate that. Okay, so what I want to do now is in my portals, in my update screen call. Let's go find that up screen. There it is, right there. Somewhere in here, we want to do this check, and we want to do it before, well, we can do it anywhere in here. It really doesn't matter. So why not put it at the beginning? We're going to go ahead and do this at the beginning. So purple portals dot, yeah, am I going to do the for each on this? I think I am actually going to do the for each on this. Let's do that. We're going to do the for each on this. Oh, it's sprites. Dot for each. I'm also debating creating a descendant of it, but let's here. I need your help again on this, Roy. I think because I'm still I was thinking about this afterwards. I'm thinking I really got to get this down. But how about this? Let me see if I get it, and you tell me if I've got it or not. Okay.
Okay.
So I think this is going to be a sprite here of type sprite proxy. Is what I think is going to happen in the for each, because that's what we're collecting. Then I think it's going to go to a function. I think there in the function, I'm going to say, did I get it? Am I
think
right,
that's good,
Aurora?
man. I like that.
Instance of, like this, portal, which is what we're expecting all of these to be true. In fact, now let me rename this to portal, because I'm just going to do that, because of TypeScript, this is one of my favorite features about TypeScript right here, is that now I can come in here and I can say portal dot, and now I can do things on portal. So if portal dot, and actually I just want to come in here and say portal dot check approaching drones. Like this, I think. And we have this all drones thing out there, and I think I'm just going to let the portal access that and manipulate that. I can pass it in as well, pass in all drones. Why not? I guess I'll do it that way. It doesn't hurt to do that. So we're going to do that. Check approaching drones. I can also say check approaching. And then now it's going to drop if it needs to do it. So let's go ahead and declare that. And then that's all we need to do. We can modify check approaching later to have the scan frequency that we talked about. But for now, we're going to do the check approaching right here. So now we're going to come in here and we're going to say check approaching. These are my drones. This is a sprites collection. So I need to come in here and say all drones dot child collections. Hold on. Let's go over into, I want to see where I want to get an example of this because there's two things I have to modify in here and I forget the pieces. Let's just jump into sprite collection and take a look at them. So we've got all sprites and child collections. Those are the two pieces we need to work with right here. So all drones dot all sprites dot for each, I think we're going to do in there. And here, our for each piece in here is, this is going to be it's a variable of type TS, or I'm sorry, it's a variable of type sprites, I think, coming in here. So it's going to, we'll call this sprites like this. And then we're going to come over here and we're going to say, and inside of sprites, we're going to say sprites dot for each. No. Sprites, I think, is what it is. Yeah. So this is going to be, we're going to maybe rename this to sprites list or something like that. I don't know. I've got a class name and a function and a property name that are the same. But now we're going to come in here and say sprites dot for each.
Just before this gets too much more complicated, Mark, you've got a missing parenthesis on the right-hand side of that line. Just a closing parenthesis.
Excellent. Thank you for that. All right. And so I've got a for each in here, and in the for each here, I'm going to do that same thing I did before. So VSP is going to give me a sprite proxy declaration. So then I'll call this the sprite. We're expecting these to be a drone, so I'll just call this a drone. And I'm going to say this is going to be of class, this is correct here. And then I'm going to pipe that out over and send that over to, did I get the second piece on there? Now it looks like I've got it.
That's good now, yeah.
Although I have this, that looks like it might be extra.
That's correct.
That's extra. And now I want to say drone dot, what's that new killer function we added in there? What was it? Get distance to, no.
No, I think it began with an F. No, maybe not.
What was it?
Have we not cast this to drone yet? That's what it is.
It should be, because, oh, you're right. It's get future point. And you're exactly right. I didn't cast it. So I'm going to say, and I can cast it by saying if drone instance of drone, like that. Nope, that's not what I want to do. Then we want to come in here and we want to say drone dot get future point of our x, and that's going to be this dot x plus our center point, which is going to be portal dot size divided by 2. Okay, and why not save us some time here so we don't have to do this calculation every single time, and let's come in here and we'll call it center x like that, set it equal to that. So drone dot, and then the now. I need to pass in now on check approaching. So let's pass in now right over here, like that. And let's go back over into main, and we're going to say pass in now, which means we got to move this down a bit because we don't calculate now until there. Okay. So there's our check approaching. Okay. Check approaching. And now we're over in here. Get future point. We need that to be we need a new variable here. And this is going to be future point like this. And that's going to be equal to drone.get future point. Then we're going to say if not null, then we're going to be able to do something with it right here. Oops, it's not a number. It's a future point. Like that. Okay. And now with the future point, we need to figure out the Q. So holy cow, I think this is part of it. However, this thing right here that we're doing, this for each piece right here, this I think we need to do put somewhere else. We need to put this in its own function is what I think we need to do.
Okay.
So
well, just before you do that, I think you may even be missing some more syntax on line 29. I think you've got a parenthesis semicolon missing at the end of that. Similar to line 30. Because it's the closing off of your other for each, the nested one. I think that's correct.
Okay, let's use selection increase to grab this here. Selection increase says it's to there. Okay, so I'm going to cut that to the clipboard, drop a marker. Then I'm going to come in here, create a new function. Check drone, I think is what I'm going to call this. So check drone. And let me paste, but then let's do this and that. And I think I just bring this here like that. It looks like I need, oh, you know what we're going to have to do? We can't really do it like this. We are going to have to instead come in and do this. Hold on. I got it. I know Will's typing something in right now.
I can see the plates spinning.
Yeah, we're going to say...
Like, I've got it. They're all spinning. It's okay. Nothing's fallen yet.
Equal this, I think is what let check drone is equal to. And I think I need to, and so we're going to pass it in check drone to it like that. And I think that's going to work. Let's see. No, wait, we've got a problem here because of that extra semicolon right there. Okay. Now I think it's going to work. All right.
Okay, so we've kind of got a local function inside another function. That's essentially what we're doing. It's actually a lambda, but we've named it. So our check drone can then be executed later on by saying, well, by reference, essentially. So that's very good, yeah.
Also, check out Will Bennett, totally helping me out here. He says the format is X gets statement, or X equals then the open angle bracket statement, or actually that's the closed angle bracket, the angle bracket there, statement, if no parameter type in a single statement. Right. Okay, so
that's the simplest form of it, essentially.
Right.
When you can derive or deduce the type of the variable, and there's only one thing you want to do, then just X leads to statement.
Yeah, excellent.
But when you have more complicated stuff, like you maybe do want the specific type explicitly, or you have multi-statements, then we got the expanded forms as well.
Never code directly to the master. Isn't that the golden rule? And I'm not sure what that means. Is he saying Will Bennett?
He's talking about your source control. So you have not created a branch in which to do the coding. We're just adding it to the main line.
Got it. Okay. I see the word master and I assume people are talking about me. Maybe that's totally the wrong assumption. So got it. Yeah, they get rid of. What'd you say?
It could be.
So that's, that's interesting because I actually never follow that rule at all. I never do that. I'm always just pushing. And for any reason I need to go back, I go back. But I push until I get completion. In other words, don't leave the computer. I don't check it in until I'm at a completion stage. So that's kind of my status on that. But I'm an old guy and, obviously could learn some new stuff all the time. I think that's fair to say, isn't it? No?
I don't know what the right answer is.
No,
there.
You don't know what yeah, good job. That was a test.
You're perfect, Mark. Don't worry.
that habit can bite you when you code in a team. All right. Well, when I do the coding for CodeRushed, I typically, if I'm doing coding for anything that comes out, I'll do a spike essentially all by myself. I'll push and get it done, and then I'll send it over to the devs, and then they let them take care of it. So I have not had to worry about that, mainly because I'm working at a level less integrated with the team and more kind of like out here in kind of a fantasy kind of place. So interesting. But I have worked with branches that the team has given me, right, where they've done that.
And ignorance.
That's what we're doing. That's it right there, kids. Okay, so future point is not null. Now we know when it's going to drop. Now we need a queue of times to drop.
Yep.
And this, I think, is going to need, we're going to need our whole, I'm going to drop a marker here because we're going to come back. I think we're going to need a whole new class for this, is what I think. Rory, because the queue
Okay.
is going to need to hold which drone we're going to drop for. Oh, wait, there's a second piece. I'm not done up here. I have to, the check approaching. This right here. I need something similar here that comes in this dot child collections dot, I think I need another for each. And inside of here, this for each is going to take a list of, I'm just realizing I can consolidate this slightly, but I'm going to just keep going. This is, by the way, I really want CodeRushed to just generate this code for me right here. This is making me a little crazy here with the...
You mean the braces, the A equals
I
greater than,
want
and
us
stuff
to
like
figure out the type. I want to figure all of this. Would you write this down, Rory, and get this
Okay.
as a, I just want to type in FE and have it figure it all out for me. I want to not have to come in here and say, okay, wait, what type is child collection of? It's of a
Yeah.
sprite collection. It's like this. It's not. It's this, 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 like that. Hold on. I'm fighting the keyboard here. And not there. I want it, I think here is where I think I want it. There. Am I getting it right? And then this is going to say sprite collection dot right here for each. Did I get all of those lined up correctly? It doesn't like this one.
You need an additional, basically, so you're closing your curly braces, but you also need to close your parenthesis and finish the statement with a semicolon.
Hold on. Did I get it? I think I may have gotten it. This
You're
one.
closing
nope.
off one for each, so you need to duplicate that line.
Oh, you're right. You're right. And I need to have that semicolon there because that's closing out the for each. Perfect.
There you go.
Wow. Okay. So basically, we're just going down and we're doing this. We're checking each drone. We're calling check drone for everything. So this is in case we've got, this covers the all sprites, the all drones. And if we have multiple drones, we're going to go through and grab those as well, is what we're going to do. Okay. So now that we've done that, then we've got our future point. We need to now maintain a list of these. So I'm going to create a new class down here, and we're going to call this a Meteor drop, I think is what I'm going to call it. And the Meteor drop is going to have a drop time. So we'll come in here and say drop time like this. And then we're going to have another public property called the owner, I think is what we're going to have here. And that is going to be of type string. Okay. So we've got our drop time. That's our Meteor drop. Then we need to have a queue. Now, I have not looked at research queues at all. Now might be a really good time to check into that. Let's see what we got. Rory's going to be late. Yeah, I figure you're going to say something, Rory, if you're going to be late. We want to see this work, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So
I mean, there's so many pieces here, but at the same time, it is coming together. We have good logical steps that we're taking here. We are predicting the crossover times. We're making sure to scan through everything that's available to predict those crossover times. Now we're going to start reacting to it by adding them to a queue. So it's natural that we need to go off and find out what kind of support might exist already.
Yeah. So I want to see if there's a queue in here. And what's going on here with this little guide? I'm wondering, the queue is
I have a
data
little voice
structure.
in my head that says perhaps the arrays in JavaScript already have some form of queue mechanic that just sort of, that's
Unshift and
so
pop.
in the same way as you push into them, you can also pop and unshift, and basically the JavaScript array seems to be a catch-all for like a stack and
Excellent.
a queue and an array and everything else
right.
as well.
Cool. And so then we should be able to come in here in Portal. Wait. Portal. Yeah, no. This is right. We want it here. So we want to have a variable of type array of, I'm just going to say strings for now, but we're going to, just so I get the declaration up here, we're going to replace this with our Meteor drop. And this is going to be our Meteors to drop. Like that. And to make it easier on us, I'm going to create a function called add Meteor to drop. Q Meteor is what I'm going to call it because I like that better. Q Meteor. and it's going to take a. Hold on, I'm going to comment this here. It's going to take. I think that's in the clipboard history. Meteor drop. That's the thing. That's the piece that's going to pass in there. That we're going to pass in. There's what we're doing, and then we're going to come in and we're going to say. Oh no, do I have to sort these by order in which I'm going to drop them? I don't think I do. Do I actually even need a queue now that I think about it? I'm going to actually forego. I don't really need it to be in a queue kind of scenario. Let's create a new instance of this, by the way. So we're going to need, I guess, to copy that over there. I think that's correct syntax. Yes, looks good. Meters to drop is there. I think we're just going to say this.meters to drop dot add.
Push, I think.
Dot push. There we go. And we're going to say meteor drop. I'm not going to stick them at the very beginning. I think, like I said, I was going to do it because the reason why is that as chimes change and we update, we might define that something is going to come before or after, but it still is added, at the end of the list, right? So I want to. And we really have no control. I don't want to sort these, is what I'm saying. I instead want to just run through them. We're going to have to still clean up. We don't have any cleanup yet. We'll have to write cleanup code tomorrow, Rory. What'll happen is this list is going to hold on to things. If we miss or whatever, we don't get, whatever, it's going to keep holding on to that. We might be able to do some simple cleanup in that if now is later than that, we can remove it. So, but these are meters to drop. We've got that right there. Check approaching does this. The last thing I want to do in check approaching is I want to say drop any meteors. Drop any meteors. Like that is what I want to do. Something like that. This dot drop any meteors. And we passing in now to this? I think we are. Yeah, we are. I think we pass in now to this as well. Drop meteors if time is good. Drop ready meteors like that. That's what I'm going to do. And so let's declare that. And there's the function meteors to drop dot. Let's do the for each again. And I'm having to do this by hand so many times. I'm going to freaking learn it and get it. Look at me.
Forced learning is good.
Yeah, it's kind of good, isn't it? So
muscle memory.
So the meters to drop, these are this is the class we created right down here, the meteor drop class right here. So this is the meteor drop class. That's going to happen there. And now inside of here, I want to do a question like this, basically. If meter to drop dot drop time is, let's do a minus now. Let's take math.abs on this. I'm just making this up as we go along, kids. Is less than QN close enough in milliseconds, like this. I'm going to say 50 milliseconds.
Okay.
If it is, or wait, I could do this. I could simply say this. If the drop time minus now, wait, hold on. If now, wait, the drop time is in the future, so it's bigger. Drop time minus now is less than 0. That means now is just gone beyond it and it's time to drop. Make sense?
Yes.
We're going to do it this way, I think, instead. I'm not going to do close enough. I'm going to instead just do this, and we'll see. And if we turn out that we are dropping late consistently, then we'll tweak. Okay? So if that's the case, now we want to actually drop. And guess what? I've been writing code for so long in this, I forget how to drop. We've got to go back over here to the main, look at that test that we had, which is down at the bottom. Portal drop. We're calling portal.drop. Easy. Then we're going to just call up this.drop is what we're going to call right there. And
there's something not quite right with that syntax there, Mark. I think is it the parenthesis after now? Is that excessive?
That's it. Perfect. Good job, Roy. Thank you. All right, good. And now we've got, that's better. All right, excellent. So then we're going to drop. Now, there's no cleanup. We really need to clean this thing up. And to clean it up, I think we really need to change our for each to a reverse for loop is what I think we really need to do. So let's do that instead. Whoops, that's not this. FRA with an uppercase F gives me a reverse for loop. So I'm going to do that, meters to drop dot length, because I'm going to both drop and remove from the queue as we go through this.
Okay.
And so now what I need to do is something along these lines. I need to say let meter to drop equal this meters to drop of I. So we're going to go from the back to the front.
Yep.
And then we're going to, this code still stays the same right there, but then we're going to splice. And it's going to, we're going to remove it if it satisfies this. So then we're going to say this meters to drop dot splice, and I think the index is I, and the count is 1, and that's going to remove just this one if I'm right on that. So that's drop ready meteors. We're now dropping in response to flying under. I feel like it's
Could it be?
It's time to
No.
test.
We've got an if statement up there that's doing nothing, Mark.
Oh, you're right. I was just looking at that. This is the last piece. We've got a future
Got
point.
the future point.
Okay,
Now,
so
if it's not null, we should do something.
okay, so we are not adding ever meters to drop, right? We have Q meteor, but we're never calling Q meteor. That's our problem. So in our future point, I set that marker there so I could get to it. Let me just come back. There it is right there. So I want to say this dot Q meteor, and I guess a new meteor drop like that. And it's going to be the drop time. Oh, and the other thing we're not checking to see is we're not using owner yet, ever. So the drop time is going to be future point. Holy cow, if this worked, would we be excited?
Oh, yeah.
The time is...
I'm excited already.
Let's make sure our time is in milliseconds when this thing is set right here. The new future point, yeah, it is, because here's our creation of it, and we're multiplying seconds across over times 1,000. Holy cow, if we've made no mistakes after a friggin' hour of coding and this works, I'm going to be super excited. All right, so then we're going to say for the drone owner, I'm going to say it's droner.user_ID. Okay, that's our meteor drop. Gosh, I really can't wait till CodeRushed implements smart semicolon. That's going to make me so happy. So if your point is not null, we do a meteor drop. Holy cow, what a test we're about to do. So let's go ahead and we'll shift this. I actually almost want to do the test in the floating version of this thing, which in here, but I don't actually see that up and running. Oh, because we're not running it. Let's run it. Let's build and run.
Okay.
I think that the refresh we just did is not going to work on the stream. I think that we are going to need to build and run. So let's see.
Check your airbags.
Check your airbags. Don't get too excited. We're building. I think it's going to fail. I think we're going to have to kill Chrome as we've done. So I'm going to get ready to kill Chrome if we get that message. Hold on.
So
builders.
one question. When somebody crosses under at the right time, we're potentially adding an item to the queue, but we're not checking that we haven't already done that. So as they pass, could multiple meteors get added? This is what Will's saying in the chat room, by the way.
Absolutely right. Thanks, Will, for that. I just killed down my copy of the chat room. I'm bringing it back up so we can do this. I've got locked files right here. Let's see if this is going to unlock it. Let me come in as well over here. Let's try one more time starting this up. Let's see. Do I have another? I think I've got a couple instances of the chatbot up. Let me close those and try running one more time. See if this solves it for us. Yes, you're absolutely right. But I'm okay for the test. Look, if we got a whole bunch coming out around the time, then I'm going to call that not bad. Then we fix the second problem. So I kind of want to test it right here is what I want to do. So let's come in and let's start. Let's do a test sample 4. That should get us our one. No, what? That does not what I wanted. Not what I expected. Do we need to do a total start game portal test? Because I renamed. Wasn't expecting. Sample game 4 is what I want. Save. Refresh.
That said 3, Mark.
That's why you're here, Rory. Okay. Refresh. All right. We are refreshing. Looks like it's done. Say test sample 4. And there it is. We've got the 1. Go ahead, Rory. Fly underneath it. I think nothing's going to happen. And we're going to be like, no, give me something. No, it's just not sad. Whoa, whoa.
There we are. So there's a slight delay.
Hold on. Don't move at all. It's still dropping them?
Because I am still, or I was still approaching, I guess.
Yeah, but you're not anymore. Move away a second.
If I go to the right by like 0.5, it should detect that I am no longer on a trajectory, but apparently
It looks like we're not removing them is what it looks like. Let's come in here and try to get a breakpoint in here and see what's going on here with the drone. I guess why not? Let's set a breakpoint here and see what we get. So this is you. Seconds passed. Let's see.
My velocity at this point, it's got to be like nothing.
Your velocity is 0.
Yeah.
So delta x is equal to, what's your delta x? You're off by 23 pixels, I guess. That feels like possibly reasonable to me. Uh-oh, this does not look good. I've got
delta x.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
It's like the gods are saying no. No, Mark, no. All right, so hold on a second. I think the only way out of that is to kill this. Let's come in and as well kill all the Chrome instances. See, can we recover? We cannot. We're going to have to kill Visual Studio, I think. This is where I think we have to do. I don't know the way out of this. I've seen this sometimes when debugging Chrome. So we'll do that. We'll open up a new instance of Visual Studio and try one more time. How are you doing, Rory, with regards to time? Are you...
I'm thinking I could stay till about 1/2 so we've got about 8 minutes left by my clock.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, let me end the other one. Let's see. Hopefully I got the right one. I think I killed it. The right one. Excellent. Here comes announcer bot loading up. And Chrome is dead. And what do we have? We have that. Let's start back up my view of the chat room. And let's run it again. I feel like we're starting to get some data.
Mm-hmm.
I guess what's interesting is at least we got the drop, right?
Yes.
We're close. We've got the drop. We have a sense that, yeah, the drop is working.
And in fairness, we knew we were going to get a lot of copies because, you know, we're not refusing to add ourselves once we're already there.
Yeah, we're not checking to see if we already exist. But I could add that check as well. That's kind of not a hard check to add. Okay, so here we are again in the background.
That would disguise this other bug, though, if we did that. Which is the fact that when we're not moving.
Yeah, what I want to do again is I want to see when, I want to watch you carefully and see when, is it when you pass or when you bounce back? Because I'm feeling right now it should be like,
Right, let's go down a little bit and let's go right another 2. So I'm going to pass.
There's the pass.
And then I'm going to stay. I'm not going to bounce this time, but still.
That's super interesting. So let's see if we can do another breakpoint and see if this time it'll let us step through it without locking. That'll be awesome. Okay, so let's look at this. Seconds passed, 2.3. Velocity X, you've got a negative velocity at this point. And our signs are different. So let's just look at this. Delta X is to the right and -4. Yeah, it says you are to the right of it. Wait. But this is, hold on, this is right.
I did literally just type in a command to go left, so it may very well have a velocity X.
Right, hold on a second.
Non-zero.
Let me look at this. This is the X position of the center of it. This X is 1242. Hold on. 1304. It's telling me this X is, well, by the time I do the plus whatever.
192, it's about 80 or so.
Oh, I know what my problem is. My math problem is, there's a math problem here, I think. That's the math problem. Because I need to do the center of the two. I was subtracting and then adding. This, I think, may be part of the problem. Okay? I'm shifting it over there. Let's close this down. Let's save it and run it. The problem is I can't step through the code anymore. Let's refresh this though and see what the change looks like though. So go ahead, let's do test sample 4. Here it comes. Fly to the right and see if we're better. And now, I think there's another bug here though. I think there's a bug in cleanup. I think it's basically, well, actually, this is the bizarre thing here. Let's set a breakpoint here. We never are reaching here, so we're not returning any new future points. See that, Rory?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's so that means
So
portal.
if we're not doing that, how are we spitting out any meteors?
Well, I think what's happening is we are not actually effectively removing them, is what I think is happening.
Oh, so we were doing it, but now
Yeah.
we're no longer doing it. Yeah, sure.
Meters to drop. Oh no, I've got 634 meters to drop in here. Let's see what
So
happens.
is our splice command wrong, and we're just not removing them correctly?
I doubt it. I've got 633 now. Let's come out here to the end. Let's run it. And now let's see how many meters to drop I have. Wait, why do I have 633? I've only dropped 2 from it. What's the time on all of these? The times are different from all these. Okay, I think we need on meters to drop a check to see if we've already got something in there. I think is what we need to do. I think we need to. Where's our queue?
There's the
call?
push there, the Q meter.
The
Yeah.
queue. What we need to do is say, ask the question is check drone. If meteors to drop dot. Oh shoot! I think we got to do a for each on it. Uh-oh. Again. Oh, I'd love to know what's causing this. What'd you say you have till 8 minutes? What do you have till, Rory?
I should be going really in about 3 minutes.
3. All right. It's as if the gods are saying, stop development on this. I want to fight through this. But
Well, then it says maybe it keeps dropping also because the drop meteor is never removed from the list. Is that different from our...
Oh, that might be
I thought-
totally true. Hold on. Let's look at the code and double check that. Yeah. By the way, this is us right here, still running. Let's go out to where we were. Mr. Announcer Bot, are we done loading? I was expecting to see the... All right, let's give away a copy of CodeRushed, my friend, since you need to get out of here.
That's a plan.
And, you're so polite all the time. We like that about you. It's time for the...
Code Rush giveaway!
Today's winner. Look for it.
Stand back, burrito!
Stand back, Burrito. We'll be contacting you shortly with instructions on how to download your copy of CodeRushed. So
Congratulations, yes.
congratulations
Very good.
to you. We were over in Portal is where we were. We were in Portal. Let's open that up. Okay. And let me close this down again one more time. Yeah, they're stepping through code here. It doesn't seem to be happy about that. Let's look at this. Let's kind of review the code. We've got Q Meteor.
Right. So the meteors to drop is as an array of meteor drops. But
Yeah.
isn't that the thing that we are splicing at the end? That's the thing which we are allegedly removing something from.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. We are splicing.
So we
that
are
should
actually
totally
removing
work.
things. That's
That should work. Let's. Do I have splice elsewhere? I can just double check the code to see where splice is elsewhere in the code and make sure that it looks similar. I bet it all looks the same. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
all
pretty good.
index 1 everywhere across the board, and so that's what we're doing. So that's correct. And yeah, so and we did see that it was removing them. I think the problem is we're adding in. The real problem is we're adding. We saw that it was 633. We're not checking to see if we've already got that user ID in there. The Q Meteor is here. The meteor to drop has the user ID. What I can do is I just need to basically check to see if we've already got it in there. So I'm going to do this one more time, a for each by hand. I'm going crazy on this here. So we're going to come in here. This is going to be a meteor drop in here like this. And that's coming out to a function. And let's get the ending piece right here. And this is basically going to be if... Actually, I can't do it as a for each because I want to exit the function and I can't exit the function from in here. And I'm not sure how to do it. So I need to instead come in here and I need to do a for loop instead. And so...
You could set a horrific flag to "I must now exit" and then pay attention when you leave the for each.
Yeah, but then I keep going all the way through, and I just want to exit
That's
immediately.
true.
That's how I want to do it. So now what I want to do instead is do this code and ask the question: if meteors to drop of I, so that's the meteor drop dot username dot owner is what it is, equals meteor drop dot username dot owner. Sorry, dot owner. Then we want to say get out. We're not doing anything.
Yep.
That's what we want to do. What's my problem here? That looks good to me. Okay, so that should
just catching up.
That should solve some of what we've seen. Let's try to run that and see if we're at least a step closer. And if we are a step closer, we'll call it a show. And if we're not, we might call it a show anyway and say we'll have to do this as a part 3.
Okay.
So are we building? What are we doing here? What's happening here?
That doesn't seem to be doing anything at the moment.
This web browser, Google Chrome. It looks like, I don't remember it saying IIS Express here. Building succeeded. Here we are.
There we go.
Are we loading? I'm not seeing this change. That's a warning sign that we got to kill Chrome. Yep, that's our secondary warning sign that we've got to kill Chrome. Here comes the kill. Chrome is dead. Let's clear this as well. Run one more time.
This is this kind of place where we feel really good at being software engineers as opposed to sort of physical engineers, because when physical engineers have things go violently wrong, it tends to be explosions, and setting up a new attempt is really quite involved.
That's why it's so important that we, later in the show, in the season, we have actual explosions flying out from the room, which we're going to have. Because good news, everybody, sex positive, my wife is also known as Karen Mangicotti, has signed on and said yes.
I have not signed on.
She's about to.
No fire.
She's about to sign on to explosives remotely detonated from your side, the chat room, inside of this world. You're on board, right?
No, I'm not on board with any of this.
Okay, well, all right. So Rory's now flying around, and I'm not seeing anything drop.
It's everything off.
Nothing's dropping at all. No drops. No fire. Oh, wait. Do you see how quickly Sex Positive joins in the chat room to say no fire? Right there. That is a determined woman.
I'm confused. I'm wondering if her hacking skills are not at play here, and she has in fact broken the code.
Your credibility. That could be it. Wait, that didn't even blow up. Genescu7 threw one right at me, and I didn't see any explosion hit there. That was a little crazy too. Yeah. Let's just double check to see if we have any errors. Whoops, console is where I want to be. Yeah, console looks clean. Okay. Yeah, Sex Positive says your credibility is dropping, your reputation is dropping, and I break code. So
my mind.
The good news is she's really close. I'm sensing it. I think I know you better than you, beautiful wife of mine. Second blow up, that one blew up. Okay, so that one's good. That's really weird. And she's taunting me by playing the sound loud right in my ear so I can hear it I hear me at a 2-second delay. Never. What I want to try setting a breakpoint. And I want to say, so that means we are never in a drone, I guess. So drone, get future point. I think the problem is in QMeteor, is where I think it is, because we were here before. If this meters to drop owner is equal to my drop owner, then we return. Does that code look good? I think it looks good to me. Let's set a breakpoint here and a breakpoint here and see if we stop at either of those. Let's fly underneath. Try that.
Okay.
Oh, what's happened? We hit a breakpoint. Okay, what do we have? Oh, we've actually got one. And so meteor to drop. We've got a drop time and an owner. Okay. So why aren't we dropping? I don't get that. Meters to drop. Let's set a breakpoint here. Are we ever going to hit this? Maybe not. Let's go fly underneath this here. I'm going to fly underneath. Like right there, I feel like we should be totally getting something there.
Drop time in the future minus now is less than 0.
So we are here.
Should happen if the drop time passes into the past.
Check this out. Meters to drop length is actually 3. We've got 3 in here.
That's a good quantity, yeah.
Yeah. So if meteor drop time is less than now, hold on, drop time. Let's look at our drop time and compare it right here. Let's step through the code and look at what's our drop time. It looks like it's 1.5 million. And this is at
a lot less than that.
What is wrong with our code?
So we're multiplying by 1,000 in an extra location somewhere we don't need to.
That might be the case. It's what it feels like. So let's look at my future. Let's look at this right here, and let's refresh. And are we still at a breakpoint? We are. Let's run. Sorry, with a breakpoint there at QMeteor. I just want to take a look at this. I feel like we're close to figuring this out.
Oh, yeah.
Test sample 4. There it is, right there. Here, whoops, what happened?
Everything just disappeared.
Oh, and if I'm right-clicking here, nothing's happening. I'm at a breakpoint. Okay, so QMeteor. Okay, so the future time, this is the 1.3 million. The now is at, so it's totally wrong. The get future point, the problem is in get future point. Clearly, let's look at this. I know we multiplied by 1,000 seconds to crossover. Are we wrong? That should be in seconds. Seconds to crossover, delta x, velocity y. Get final velocity passed. I thought velocity was in seconds. It totally should be. Get final velocity. I wonder if it's a pixels per meter problem. Is what I wonder about. Interesting. So what we need a get future point break is what we need. We need something in here to take a look at this and maybe a breakpoint there. Let's just run this. Here's where we're at it on another one here. So seconds fast. My velocity is and my velocity x and y, we're not moving very fast. Delta x is a lot. X is at 13.4 drone width. This dot x is... Okay, so I'm going to have to go all the way across the screen. Whoops, shoot. I thought it was on another piece of code there. Let's run it again. Here we go. We'll look at this one. Okay, seconds past, much smaller arrangement there. Hold on. The seconds to crossover is 2,000... seconds of crossover looks like it is in milliseconds. Let's just try it. Take this off and see what happens.
Okay, yeah.
And if that's not the case, I could have a meters and pixels problem here too. So we'll see if that works. This will be our last test. If it doesn't work, I'm going to let you go, Rory, and say thank you so much. Test sample 4. Here it comes.
Well, there's a lot more.
Yeah. Try moving away.
I got one now too.
Yeah. You're moving away, it doesn't do anything.
Moving away, I'm not included anymore.
Yeah, I think
that's pretty good.
I think it's not.
towards.
I think the problem. Sorry, go ahead. You want to look at the? Go ahead. Go.
Well, that's just barely going towards. So, but it's not enough to ever get there, I suppose. And maybe, mind you, I'm excluded. Am I excluded now because I've got one already?
We didn't write any code to do that.
Closer!
Yeah, I'm not sure we're getting closer yet. Will, I'm not so
Closer.
sure about that.
We haven't hit the target yet, but this is closer.
Yeah. This is like
One just popped out of there for nowhere.
yeah,
Just one.
I'm
I was stationary.
Mr. Announcer
I
Bot
have
says,
no idea.
Mr. Announcer Bot says he has no idea. Yeah, and I'm gonna throw in a.
This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, we got from nothing to dropping. So yeah, we got a little bit going on there. So there's some things that are happening there, but it's clearly not. Let me see what happens when I come out here. Let's just see what happens when I pop myself out here with the drone, and yeah, nothing's happening there, right? Oh wait,
well.
there.
So
Oh,
that's very slow.
that's not bad. Oh, and another one there.
It's just right because you eventually slow to 0, don't you? Which means you're not going to intersect.
Yeah, I think so. Let me just move to the right just a bit. Let me see what happens when I move right. Do you see more dropping? Unless one comes out about now because it's calculating that velocity. Yeah, so I think the problem here is not times 1,000. I think the problem is in meters per second, and I want to make sure that that we're all the way. You doing this all the way. So physics.get final velocity.
What's this dot time start?
Hold on just a second. Hold on. Let's look at that. What's your question?
That very first line says seconds past equals now minus this time start, and then divides by 1,000. But they are both proper times.
Yeah, this is seconds. How many seconds passed? Yes. So time start is these are both millisecond markers. So this is a difference of thousands of seconds is what this is. So
sure, so that is legit.
Yeah, if we look for this code, we're going to see this code show up multiple places in here. I thought I said that was the case, but I don't see it. I bet. Well, let's see if we see it all throughout the. We see it showing up. Yeah, it's in multiple places.
Yeah, it's a good
here.
Places. That's
so
all right.
Rocket and Drone are using that. So that's not, I think, the problem. We need seconds past because get final velocity needs that. It needs my thrust. All of these are correct here. This is code we've copied from another. That was sex positive in the other room saying it needs your thrust. So also you should maybe rename yourself to Sex Giggle or something like that. Sexy. Okay, velocity X, velocity Y, that's good. The delta X, so this is in pixels right here. And this is all good here. Seconds to crossover though. So velocity X, this I think is my problem.
That's the thing there. Hang on. If your delta X, is that delta X assumed to be in meters?
No, it's in pixels, but we need to change it. So we're going to call, we need pixels to meters here.
Yeah.
I think this is maybe the problem.
So previously we thought it was in meters, but it's not. So we convert it from pixels up to meters, at which point we can do the division correctly. Yes,
and that's the only last time we used delta X is there. This time is okay here, that's okay here, and this is okay here. I think
so what you're saying is one final test, right?
I think I'm saying one final test, but probably not, because it feels like it's not. It's calculation performed by whoever calls get future point, though. I'm not sure about that. Let's see what happens here. So test sample 4. Here we go.
Okay, that's a few more meteors than I had predicted.
Yeah. Move. Let me just drop a drone down as well. Oh yeah, but look, as soon as you head towards it, I think it's happening. So let's go. You go away. I'm still going towards it though. Let me go left away from it, and they stop. Okay.
So you're going left and nothing happens. If I go left,
is the timing doesn't quite
start again?
Oh, that timing for that one maybe works, but you know what? It's like it's not removing it. I feel like.
Then go right one back the other way, and it's like an on-off switch.
Yeah, it's kind of like an on-off switch. What I think I want to do is I want to say I want to go out here. If future point is not here, Q Meteor. Then I want to come in here. I want to do like a console log and just throw this line of code out here to see if we're pushing or the problem is we're not removing, because it could be either one. It could be we're queuing like crazy, and the other problem could be that we're not removing them. And then we're going to come in here and we're going to say this piece right here. I'm using CodeRush's selection increase to just grab that entire string really quickly. And then I'm going to come back over here and do a refresh. This is my last test, I think, Rory. Just to get some insight on it. Yeah. So I'm thinking if I could, have a sandwich brought to me. Can you hear that laughter, Rory?
Oh, I can.
I don't know. I think I could go longer, but all right. So let's go look in. Let's go look at the console and see what we've got coming out of here. Here we go. Inspect, and I love that so much. We're like pushing and splicing, is what we're doing. We're pushing and dropping. So I think it could be our calculation is wrong. I think we need to take a look at that. That's the time to drop is wrong, because it is. If let me just throw my drone out here. Hostage negotiator to Rory. Sir, remain calm. This will all be over soon. That's Will Bennett out there. I'm going to drop out of my drone. Do we have anything going? We do. But they're coming out too fast. I'm saying those are coming out way too fast. So our calculation is not right. I think that's part of the problem here, because right now I'm going incredibly slowly. If we drop meteors now. Wait. I think I have an idea on what it is. I think we're not adding now to the time we want to do the meteor drop when we're doing it, I think. Q meteor.
Oh, hang on a second.
This is it right here.
We are adding lots and lots and lots of these, but we're deciding not to. If there's anybody in the queue,
this is it.
Owned, as soon as we catch it, it's not owned.
No, look, this is the problem. I think this is it. My future time never adds to now. Or maybe it does. Let's go double check. Maybe I'm wrong. The future time is, it's now plus crossovers. Dang. So that's not the problem. So, okay, I'm sorry, Rory. What were you saying? Tell me.
Well, I was hypothesizing that we're deliberately removing from the queue. So we're adding a lot, right? And then we're deciding to remove a lot. But we refuse to add more if we detect that there's something in there which is already owned by somebody or is queued for somebody.
No, look over here, Rory. We are only adding one and then removing it. We're adding and removing the same one again and again. The code to check to see if there's any in there is right. The code to calculate the time to drop is wrong. That's the problem. It's dropping too soon, right? If I look at this, I'll show you. If I say right, give my drone a command to move right, watch its velocity and when you expect it to show up. And I think it's dropping too soon. It's the calculation on when to drop is too soon. And then furthermore, as I slow down, it still says, "Oh, yay, you're still coming, and I'm going to drop now." It's the problem is in our get future point. That I'm certain of. And with that, I think we can end the show. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll look at get future point. There's a chance I'll continue to. Well, maybe I'll keep going. What do you think I should do?
Well, I'll tell him I'm afraid I'm not able to make it tomorrow. I have other commitments, unfortunately. So your call, my friend.
Will Bennett says, nice stream.
Challenge.
Karaman Jakati,
What?
you want me to stop the stream and have lunch with you?
Yeah, for the love of God.
She's on board with me continuing to go, I think. That's my take. Fire, explosions, and continuing to go.
I'm thinking there's an entire Las Vegas show going to go on there, and there'll be no problem with that whatsoever, right?
Right. I want to be in a shark cage, though, when we do it, just so I can say whatever I feel without, fear of...
Ask the chat room.
Ask the chat room. I was about to do a poll in there, chat room, but I just heard an overwhelming yes for lunch. So I'm going to go grab lunch, but I tell you what I will do, chat room. If I get time later today and I get a discovery on what's going to happen, I'll do a special quick show where we'll fix it. And then otherwise we'll see you tomorrow. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. And before I get in any future trouble with the current and future Mrs. Mark Miller, we're gonna end this show now before anybody gets themselves in any other trouble. Thanks, Will. Thanks, Janiscu7. Thank you, Rory. I appreciate it so much. What sex positive rights divorce? No way. No way at all. I'm gonna fight for that. All right, talk to you guys. I gotta remove her attorney from her speed dial. Her numbers over there. All right, kids, we'll see you tomorrow. Roy won't be with us, but we'll be here on our own, fighting our way through it, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, guys. Bye.